Hi sir. चलो.
Hello, students of BSc 3 Physics. In the first term, we have studied the semester 5 and the 4 papers, and now second term is started. In the second term, also we have to study the paper numbers 13, 14, 15 and 16. 4 papers that we have to study in the second term. And I, Dr. S.M. Kadam, going to take the paper of the solid state physics, that is physics paper number 14. In this paper, what we have to study is the solid state physics mainly deals with the study of crystalline solids. So in the first unit number 1, what we have to study is, there are 2 units. In unit 1, there are 2 chapters. Unit 1, the first chapter is crystal structure. So in this first chapter is the crystal structure. So in this chapter, what we have to study is here, the first of all, the geometrical arrangement. First of all, we will study in the crystal structure the types of the solids, that is amorphous, single crystal and the crystalline solids, and what is the difference between that we have to study. Then we will see the all materials or the all substances or the metals or the compounds fuses into certain crystals. So we have to study their types of the crystals, 2-dimensional as well as 3-dimensional. And in order to study the crystal structure, first of all study the geometrical arrangement of the points and what we call as the space lattice. So in the chapter we will see first of all the space lattice. So this is the theoretical geometrical arrangement of the points in 3 dimensions, and how this geometrical arrangement of the points is converted into crystal structure, that we have to study. There are so many ways of arranging the points in the 3 dimensions which satisfy the space lattice. It is found that there are only 14 ways of arranging the points in the space lattice, and how that arrangement can be converted into crystal structure, that also we have to study. So there are only 14 crystal types, and that 14 crystal types are again compacted into make 7 crystal systems, and how that can be formed, that we will learn in the crystal structure. So in this case, out of 7 crystal systems, we will going to study in detail simple cubic, body centered cubic, face centered cubic and the hexagonal closed packed structure. So these we have to study. So cubic crystal structures mainly simple cubic, body centered cubic, that is BCC in this year, FCC, and the another is nothing but hexagonal closed packed structure, that is SCP. In all the structures, we have to determine the 4 parameters: the number of atoms per unit cell in all the cases, coordination number, packing fraction, and relation between atomic radius and the lattice constant here. The length of the unit cell can be regarded. What is unit cell also we have to see. In case of the space lattice also we have to deal with the what is meant by basis. Basis also we have to know. So how the space lattice and the basis is related with the crystal structure, that we have to also study, and we will study the simple cases, simple cubic, body centered cubic, face centered cubic and hexagonal closed packed structures. As far as any crystal is concerned, here we have to also define the planes in the crystals. So we are going to study also with this the Miller indices. So Miller indices is nothing but indices which defines the plane in the cubic lattice. So that we have to also study in this case. So as far as in a crystal, there exists so many set of parallel planes, and the perpendicular distance between that planes. For example, if suppose this is the set of parallel plane, also in a crystal, the perpendicular distance between them is known as interplanar spacing, and it is denoted by BHKL. particularly D or DHKL. So also we have to study the relationship between the Miller indices, and that can be given by the symbol HKL here, and how the relationship between DHKL, Miller indices and the lattice constant, that we have to also see in this crystal structure. So this is brief what we have to study in the crystal structure. And the second topic deals with the X-ray diffraction. X-ray diffraction. So to determine the crystal structure of unknown materials, the many methods are employed. For example, the neutron diffraction method. Neutron diffraction method, ND diffraction method, NDM. This is one. The second, electron diffraction method. That is electron diffraction method. And lastly, here third is nothing but X-ray diffraction method. So, in order to study the crystal structure of any unknown material or the known material, to analyze the crystal structure of the unknown materials or the known materials, these three methods are employed. The first, neutron diffraction method, N for neutron diffraction method. This is electron diffraction method. And lastly, X-ray diffraction method. So in this year, we will study the X-ray diffraction method. And in the X-ray diffraction method, again, there are three types that we have to study. The first is nothing but here, X-ray diffraction method, three methods that we are going to study. The one is nothing but here, the Leo method. Leo method, then rotating crystal method. Rotating crystal method, and lastly, that is the powder method. So in order to study the crystal structure, powder method, the most widely used method is the X-ray diffraction method instead of the neutron or the electron diffraction method. So in case of the X-ray diffraction method, we have to study the Leo method. So what is main broadly difference is that here, in the Leo method, we use the thin film. The sample should be, or the sample under study should be in the form of thin foil. And here is nothing but X-ray source. Here, the X-ray source. Here is nothing but X-ray source. And this is incident here on this foil. And here, the photographic plate is placed here. So you are getting here some points. So particularly this is the X-ray plate. So here the main point you are getting like this, and the atoms are arranged here, and diffraction we are getting here like this. So all the diffracted rays will be come, and you are getting here the points here. So in this case, Leo pattern, and that photographic whatever the points getting on the photographic plate, on the basis of that photographic plate, the crystal structure of this material can be identified. So the main difference is that here we can use the sample in the form of thin foil. Here this must be thin foil, very thin foil here. In case of the rotating crystal method, here is also X-ray source. We can also use the X-ray source. But here the sample, bulky sample will be allowed. So in this case, we can use the bulky sample here. Bulky sample can be used here, and here it is capable of rotating on a pivot. So when X-ray is incident on this bulky crystal, here bulky sample is allowed here. Bulky sample, and here you are getting the photographic plate again. So on the basis of that, in this case thin foil is used. In this case, bulky sample, of which the crystal structure that to be determined is used. And while in case of the powder method here, X-ray source is here, and in a tube here, in a small tube here, the sample should be in the form of powder. 1 gram powder is taken here, and X-rays is incident here. It is also capable of rotating. Every powder form or every particle can be act as a crystallates, and some of the crystallates will be oriented in the path of X-rays to satisfy the Bragg's law. Here is also the Bragg's law is the principal, Bragg's law of diffraction. So we have to study the Bragg's law. What is meant by Bragg's law? And the crystal can be act as a grading for the X-rays. Why? This is because the atomic dimensions of the crystal is comparable to the wavelength of the light, and the diffraction is possible here. So why you have to study, you have to answer the question is that here, why we not use the visible light, and diffraction is not particularly we are getting, you have to find the answer. Students, you must find the answer. What is the difference when the white light or the visible light is used? Here we are not getting the diffraction, but X-rays is used, you are getting diffraction. Why? You have to find the answer in home. So in this case we have to study these three methods, and also we have to study the what is meant by. So in the first chapter we will study with the direct lattice, but in this case we will, because the diffraction map, when the X-rays are incident on the thin foil or the bulky crystal or the powder, we are getting the diffraction map, and that diffraction map can be regarded as the reciprocal lattice. So what is meant by reciprocal lattice? The properties of the reciprocal lattice, what is evolved construction, Bragg's law in evolved construction, that all are studied in the chapter number 2. So in the unit number 1 there are 2 chapters, crystal structure 1, and another is nothing but the X-ray diffraction. Now the another unit is nothing but here, the unit number 2. Here also we have to study the 2 chapters again. So each and every unit contains the 2 chapters in this paper. The another unit number 2. In the unit number 2, the chapter 1 is here. We have to study the magnetic properties of materials. Magnetic properties of materials. Materials can be divided, can be classified into a number of groups depending on the properties. On the basis of magnetic properties, the materials can be divided into 3 types. The one is nothing but here, the paramagnetic material. Paramagnetic, magnetic, which is attracted with less quantity when it is placed in a magnetic field. The another is nothing but here, the diamagnetic materials. Diamagnetic materials. And lastly, see, that is we have to study ferromagnetic materials. So on the basis of here, ferromagnetic materials. So what is the main difference is that here, when these materials are placed in a magnetic field, these are less attracted, while the ferromagnetic materials are strongly attracted towards the magnetic field. Strongly attracted. Here weakly attracted. And weakly attracted. And these materials are repelled. When it is placed, it is not attracted, but it is repelled by the magnetic field. So on the basis of that, these materials are those which are weakly attracted, broadly classified in such a way that those materials which are weakly attracted towards magnet or the magnetic field is known as paramagnetic, strongly attracted are known as the ferromagnetic materials, and weakly and repelled by the magnetic field. It is not attracted, but it is repelled. So it can be regarded as the diamagnetic materials. Also in this case we have to study the Langevin theory of the paramagnetism, Langevin theory of the diamagnetism, and in this case we have to study the basis theory to explain the magnetization produced in this. So Curie law and like this. So in this case we have to study this much. So according to magnetic properties, materials are classified into 3, and we have to study what is meant by paramagnetic material, then diamagnetic material, ferromagnetic material, some differences between them on the basis of the attraction or the measures of these materials towards the magnetic field, and so on. And the another last topic that we have to study is nothing but band theory of these ones. Band theory. band theory of solids. So in this case, we have to study electron, when electron not placed in a constant potential, but it is placed in a periodic potential. On the basis of that, the band theory is developed to explain certain difficulties in the free electron theory. So on the basis of magnetic parameters, materials can be classified like this. On the basis of electrical parameters also, the materials are classified into the three types again. The metals, those are good conductors, then semiconductors, and lastly the insulators. So on the basis of the band theory of the solids, how the materials are classified into metals, semiconductors and the insulators, that we have to also study in case of the band theory of the solids. And also we have to study here what is meant by the Hall effect. What is the Hall effect here? That we have to also study. On the basis of the band theory, also we have to study the velocity of the electron in a particular band. We have to study the velocity of electron in the band. How the band is formed, that also we have to study in this case. This is the one, and the another is nothing but effective mass of electrons. Electron does not behave as a, if we can consider the isolated electron, m is mass of that electron, but when electron is in a band, then it behaves as a different mass, what we call as effective mass of the electron. That we have to also learn in this particular chapter. So this is somewhat the skeleton of the solid state physics in BSc 3, and this is the paper number 14. Okay, thank you. In the next lecture, we will study the step by step and the details of these 4 chapters. Okay, thank you.